Good morning.
Good morning.
There we go. It is a great morning because I see outside a little bit of the sun starting to come through, so we'll just cross our fingers here. First, let me first recognize my good friend Dorothy Cook and representatives of the Dena'ina. Thank you for hosting us on your traditional lands. Let's thank them for this moment. And to the elders who everywhere, anytime, they continue to give me their wisdom, to guide me on this journey to represent this great state. Thank you to the elders for that on an everyday basis. And this morning we had a great meeting with our veterans, Alaska Native veterans, those that have served in the past, those that are current, and those that are in the future. Let's recognize them for the great service to our great country. Actually, let's stand up and give them a round of applause. The veterans are incredible. One of my proudest achievements when I was mayor of Anchorage was working with the Alaska Native community and naming this impressive convention center where you hold your great meeting in honor of the first people of this region. When we named the Dena'ina Center, honestly, I didn't know I'd be dancing on stage with Brianna night, and I don't know if that photo shows it yet, but I don't know. Do I have a little rhythm? A little bit? But it was an incredible night to be here, to be recruited from the audience to dance. I think I had the only white shirt that night. I don't know what the deal was. But it was really a great honor to be here. Thanks also to AFN President Julie Kitka, co-chairs of Senator Albert Kukish, Ralph Anderson, the entire AFN board of directors, and all the staff who make this extraordinary event possible and go off every year without a hitch. To your delegates, it is always an honor to join you. It's hard to believe this is my 9th year participating in the convention, first as Anchorage mayor, and now as your U.S. Senator. As mayor of Anchorage, Alaska's largest city, I took every opportunity to show our community and the entire state the interconnected relationship between rural and urban Alaska. When rural Alaska is thriving, urban Alaska does too. I've carried this deep commitment of rural Alaska with me to the Senate, and I'm grateful to have former Bethel Mayor Tiffany Zlokowski as my rural director to help me deliver on that commitment. During the nearly 3 years I've been your senator, we have partnered together to accomplish many great things. Just as this year's convention theme staged, this is strength in unity. By working together, we have delivered nearly $2 billion, the highest amount per capita of any state to all communities across Alaska through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. That's 2 billion reasons the Recovery Act was a good idea. The Recovery Act continues to fund many sorely needed projects, creating hundreds of Alaska jobs and providing tax relief to working Alaskans. One of the most significant projects was full funding, $152 million. Only 2 projects in this category in the whole country for the new Nome Hospital. The project has injected millions of dollars in wages into the Northern Sound region, created long-lasting jobs, and will triple the size of the Nome's current healthcare facilities. Speaking of healthcare, I was proud to work to secure the first comprehensive, permanent authorization of the Indian Healthcare Improvement Act in nearly 2 decades. As the National Health Reform Bill was being considered in the Senate last year, I will tell you, without going into all the details, a few of my colleagues teamed up together, cornered the majority leader, Harry Reid, on the Senate floor and told him, we could not have health care reform in this country without ensuring first, that the first people of this great country have health care on and needed across this country. He agreed, and I was honored to support the final passage of this vital reauthorization, which is finally bringing Indian health care services to the 21st century. Of course, health care is vital for every resident in Alaska's villages, which is why, in August, I brought the Federal Communications Commissioner, Chairman to New Stuyahok to visit the local village clinic. And I will tell you something, he had never been to Alaska. I think he thought he was just going to come to Anchorage, tool around here a little bit, and that was it. But we decided to take him out to the clinics and see rural Alaska. And thanks to community health aide practitioner Gloria Hansen and her demonstration of the telemedicine card, Chairman Dena'ina saw firsthand the incredible technologies of our rural healthcare delivery system. And I'm also happy to say, with Gloria, I got a clean bill of health as I was getting inspected there. You know, a funny thing happened when we were going out to New Stu. We were celebrating the new $100 million broadband project funded by the Recovery Act. And as you know, sometimes when you get delivered at the airport, transportation is always a struggle and challenge. And Chairman Dena'ina, again, had never been to an Alaska village. So as I call it, the village cab service came, which was the police vehicle. Picked him up, put him in the back, and guess what happens when you're in the back of a police vehicle? The doors are locked, the glass comes up, and it was a great way to keep his attention focused on what we wanted to explain to him. It is a trick I'm going to use off and on, I will tell you that. It is with a unified message that we have brought dozens of President Obama's top people, cabinet secretaries, and heads of important federal agencies, like the FCC Chairman, Dena'ina, to Alaska to see firsthand what Alaska is about. And we have made it clear with the 11 cabinet secretaries that we have brought to Alaska in the last 3 years, they do not just come to the urban areas. They do not just come to the hubs. They will go out to the villages and see all of Alaska. One person we did not have to have that special cab service for was the Veteran Affairs Secretary, Eric Shinseki. We saw a gentleman who understood, who came out, and as a member of the Veterans Committee, we wanted to bring Secretary Shinseki out to hear from veterans the challenges and the struggles they have in rural Alaska. And it was great to have him there, as he understood now and understands now more than ever what our veterans are facing. We visited Quig, where we toured the local clinic and he helped me honor surviving members of the Alaska Territorial Guard. From that visit, we secured his support to ensure rural veterans receive care close to home instead of traveling hundreds, in some cases thousands of miles to get their care. At a veteran listening session we had earlier this morning, I have to tell you it was emotional, it was strong, the words were of great wisdom, incredible ideas, and sitting there for the hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes and listening to our veterans, it again renewed my commitment to passing the Alaska Heroes Card, which allows any veteran in rural communities to get their health care wherever they need it, whenever they need it, and not have to travel all over this countryside to find basic health care. It is through a unified effort between all of you here, the delegation. We fought off misguided attempts to restrict the economic benefits of our native corporations to deliver Alaskans through the 8A program. Although a frustrating battle, I will tell you, and many of the leadership know this, it is a frustrating battle. Every day, I work with the rest of the delegation to protect Alaska Native Corporations' participation in the Small Business Administration 8A program. My colleagues on both sides of the aisle have targeted this program unfairly and continue to wage the attacks both behind closed doors in Congress and through sensational stories in the media. Despite these attacks, I will continue to fight for the 8A program with facts, which is why I worked with the UA Institute of Social and Economic Research to produce a detailed report on the benefits of the 8A program to shareholders. This is why we continue to bring Alaskans, you, members of the Native corporations and village corporations who work and operate the 8A programs in front of Congress to tell your story, to tell the impact and the results of the work you do, not only for your shareholders, but the future generation in creating jobs that they will benefit from, that they will be employed and have great paying jobs. So you can count on my support, continuing on that battle line, fighting for the rights of the Alaska Native community to continue the 8A program. There is no question. We have accomplished much by working together. But sadly, this year's convention theme, Strength and Unity, speaks to what seems like a forgotten value in Washington these days. Deep partisanship nearly brought the federal government to a standstill earlier this spring. Political gridlock means addressing Alaska's needs will be even more challenging. And we've already seen with a ban on earmarks and increased competition with federal dollars. But as Elizabeth Medicine Crow has said, as Vice President of the First Alaskans Institute, and she reminds us, cooperation and collaboration is an asset the Alaska Native community has had for generations. And it can be seen through the cultural tradition of subsistence. When the time comes each year, there are no questions about the need to work together, to put away fish, berries, and meat for the winter months. Families and friends work like a well-oiled machine to ensure their spiritual and physical needs are met. As your Senator, my job is providing you the tools and the resources you need to address problems at the local level where you know best how to solve those problems. But I cannot do this without your collaboration and wisdom. Using testimonials and photos from Alaskans, we fought off the misguided efforts to eliminate essential air service and protect air service for over 44 Alaskan communities. By receiving your comments and resolutions, I was able to use my seat on the Government Affairs Committee, which has jurisdiction over post offices, to ensure 31 village post offices considered for closure remain open for business in Alaska. And thanks to all of you Facebookers, we gathered photos from more than 50 communities around Alaska showing the high price of fuel. It is important my colleagues hear your voices in the hallways of the nation's capital, and we are finding new ways to share your story. I want to maintain the connection with you every day, so I'm launching a new feature on my website called Rural Alaska Hub. This website is a tool for rural Alaskans to stay in constant communication with me about the challenges you face and the solutions you want to see enacted. As we celebrate the 40th anniversary of the passage of ANCSA, I share your frustrations with the battles we're fighting, some old and some new. I hear loud and clear, in every community I visit, we must protect subsistence rights no matter where you live, no matter where you go to get your subsistence. This is a right owed and endowed to Alaska Natives. This is why, at AFN's request, I have asked the Senate Indian Affairs Committee to hold an oversight hearing on subsistence management in Alaska. I've said many times on another issue, and you've heard me say it, and I remember when I ran my campaign, it was probably one of my more popular commercials about No Child Left Behind. This has not worked for Alaska. It is a bad law for rural Alaska, and it needs to go. This whole idea from Washington that one size fits all when it comes to our educational needs of our communities and our children, that law did damage, in my view, to rural Alaska. We've introduced legislation which is now being incorporated into the rewrite, the rewrite to No Child Left Behind, that focuses on local initiatives, local innovation, giving these resources to everyone at the local level. This is the right way to education policy, not having Washington decided to allow local communities to do the right thing that they work with their parents, their communities, and their kids. You will see us active on this issue without hesitation. And when people come to me and my colleagues and say, would you support No Child Left Behind with all these Washington pieces to it, the answer is clearly no. It has to be locally driven. If not, I'm not interested. The same philosophy, maybe it's from a family that has been here since pre-statehood, that engages in education on an everyday level, but understands the need of local communities and neighborhoods to have their voice. It's this same philosophy that I have when it comes to public safety. Supporting local control and innovation is what's guided me for the introduction of the Alaska Safe Families in Village Act, where every person in their village must feel safe. And we must give the tools necessary to make that happen. This bill improves public safety by strengthening tribal courts, and I thank AFN for their strong support on this legislation. It is also why I continue to fight for the Dena'ina Commission, a true model of how to deliver infrastructure and projects in rural communities in a cost-effective way, but engage the community. The last 2 years have been hard for the Dena'ina Commission. Federal spending cuts have hurt, but the Commission is focusing on new ideas to build sustainable communities. Every cabinet official we bring up here, we describe the Dena'ina Commission, the success of it, garnering support as we go along. It is investments in emerging energy technologies that will help thousands of rural Alaskans cut their energy costs. And I'm glad another $6 million in federal funds was just awarded to support these efforts in rural communities. There is no question the role of the federal government in Alaska is changing. The political climate in Washington, D.C. and across the country is changing. So the way we work to accomplish our vision for Alaska must also change. Rest assured, you have a congressional delegation working hand in hand, advocating for Alaska's unique needs every single day. While people may be wringing their hands, I'm not. One thing I know is that Alaska Native people have the strength and ability to adapt. As I spoke with many young Native leaders last night and celebrated their many successes, I heard confidence. I heard hope for the future of this great state. I saw renewed energy to build on the strength and wisdom of those leaders who have forged the path that brought us to where we are today. Like those leaders we have lost last year, Dr. Walter Sokolov, Athabascan elder Hannah Solomon, Yupik educator Caleb Pagawi, and the many leaders who are here today. Let me also honor a great Native leader from Fort Yukon who was just in Washington 3 days ago. Chief Clarence Alexander was selected from more than 6,000 nominees across this country to be one of just 13 Americans nationwide to receive the Presidential Citizen Medal from President Obama. Absolutely. Chief Alexander was selected for his work with tribal governments and for helping clean up Yukon River. Again, an incredible inspiration to all of us today, to the young people of tomorrow's leaders. I'm honored to have the opportunity to work with many of you over the last 2 decades. And I'm inspired every day by the talent and commitment of those who will lead the Alaska Native community in the next 2 decades. I want to thank you for your support, the support that elected me in office, and the support I receive from you every day as I fight for Alaska in Washington. I'm honored to be your partner and look forward to another year of sharing stories, sharing a meal, maybe a dance or two, and ideas, and sharing dreams to build a stronger, united Alaska Native community. Again, thank you for the opportunity to join you, and have a great convention. Dena'ina.
Thank you, Senator. We really appreciate you traveling from D.C. and joining us, and I want to congratulate your staff again for all the cooperation and help that they've provided, not only AFN, but all our membership over the course of the year, and we know that they worked very hard. I wanted to indulge the delegates just for a second because I wanted to ask the Senator for two personal favors. I'm going to do it publicly. The first one with Chairman Daniel Akaka retiring from the U.S. Senate at the end of his term, and in respect for his lifelong commitment to public service and being the only Native American in the Congress in the United States Senate, could you please ask Senate President Harry Reid to get the Akaka bill done this year and get the blind people recognized? Could you make an extra plea?
I'm going to say one thing, Julie. This is one bill I called Senator Akaka on. I hadn't read it, to be very frankly, but I trust Senator Akaka, and I said, sign me on as a co-sponsor, whatever I can do to help make sure that legislation passes. It would be an incredible legacy for him. So absolutely, I'll work on that.
And the second one is, it was very historic, this convention with Navajo President Ben Shelley here, Jackie Johnson from NCAI. We have been talking with the President of Navajo Nation about the need for a very high-level meeting of Indian country with the President of the United States at this point in time, prior to the super committee making all these massive budget cuts. So if there's any way that you could assist us in the Navajos with your colleagues and stuff to make that high-level meeting happen, so we're not just reading about it in the paper. It is very important. President Ben Shelley agreed as well that he thinks the timing is absolutely critical for this meeting to occur. So I know that you would do it normally, but I just wanted to just publicly say it really is something that we need help in. Yourself being in the majority party in the Senate, you're in a very unique position to help Native Americans across the country, and we so much appreciate that.
Yes.
So on behalf of the AFN board and the delegates, we have a beautiful ptarmigan mask made of cedar. The artist is Clifton Smith of Macquarie, Alaska. And please hang it up in your office or home or somewhere, and let it remind you of all the people back home, and let it also encourage you as you continue to do all your hard work.
Thank you very much, Julie. Thank you on behalf of AFN. I'll just say one last thing. I cannot emphasize enough, your board, your members, Julie, do an incredible job back there advocating on your behalf. And the one thing that I love, not that I'm asking for a whole bunch because I don't have storage space, but when people bring me that smoked salmon, I'll tell you something. It's a high commodity with my colleagues, so it's a great trading opportunity. So I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that. Thank you all very much.